Hello, good evening. I'm going to read Jubilees 4 and 5, where I left off after 3. I had intended on doing it longer, and I was afraid of the video running out of storage space, so I deleted some room, made some more room on my phone. So I'm going to read Jubilees 4 and 5. Cain and Abel and other children of Adam, 1 through 12. That's verses it's telling you. Enos, Kenan, Mahalalel, Jared, 13 through 15. Enoch and his history, 16 through 25. Four sacred places, 26. Methuselah, Lamech, Noah, 27, 28. The death of Adam and Cain, 29 through 32. Shem, Ham, and Japheth, 32. Jubilees 4. And in the third week, in the second Jubilee, 64 to 70 a.m., she gave birth to Cain. And in the fourth, 71 to 77 a.m., she gave birth to Abel. And in the fifth, 78 to 84 a.m., she gave birth to her daughter, Awan. And in the first year of the third Jubilee, 99 to 105 a.m., Cain slew Abel because God accepted the sacrifice of Abel and did not accept the offering of Cain. And he slew him in the field, and his blood cried from the ground to heaven, complaining because he had slain him. And the Lord reproved Cain because of Abel, because he had slain him, and he had made him a fugitive on the earth because of the blood of his brother. And he cursed him upon the earth. And on this account it is written on the heavenly tables, Cursed is he who smites his neighbor treacherously. And let all who have seen and heard say, So be it. And the man who has seen and not declared it, let him be accursed as the other. And for this reason we announce when we come before the Lord our God all the sin which is committed in heaven and on earth, and in light and in darkness and everywhere. And Adam and his wife mourned for Abel 4 weeks of years, 99 through 1:27 a.m. And in the fourth year of the fifth week, 1:30 a.m., they became joyful. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare him a son, and he called his name Seth, for he said, God has raised up a second seed unto us on the earth instead of Abel, for Cain slew him. And in the sixth week, 1:34 through 40 a.m., he begat his daughter Azurah. And Cain took Awan, his sister, to be his wife. And she bare him Enoch at the close of the fourth Jubilee, 190 to 196 a.m. And in the first year of the first week of the fifth Jubilee, 197 a.m., houses were built on the earth. And Cain built the city and called its name after the name of his son Enoch. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she bare yet 9 sons. And in the fifth week of the fifth Jubilee, 2:25 to 31 a.m., Seth took Azurah his wife to be his wife. And in the fourth year of the sixth week, 2:35 a.m., she bare him Enos. We began to call on the name of the Lord on the earth. And in the seventh Jubilee, in the third week, 3:09 to 3:15 a.m., Enos took Noam, his sister, to be his wife. And she bare him a son in the third year of the fifth week, and he called his name Kenan. At the close of the eighth Jubilee, Kenan took Mualaleth, his sister, to be his wife, and she bare him a son in the ninth Jubilee, in the first week in the third year of this week, and he called his name Mahalalel. And in the second week of the 10th Jubilee, Mahalalel took unto him to wife Dinah, the daughter of Barachiel, the daughter of his father's brother. And she bare him a son in the third week in the 6th year. And he called his name Jared, for in his days the angels of the Lord descended on the earth, those who are named the Watchers, that they should instruct the children of men, and that they should do judgment and uprightness on the earth. And in the 11th Jubilee, Jared took to himself a wife, and her name was Barakah, the daughter of Razul, a daughter of his father's brother, in the fourth week of the Jubilee. And she bare him a son in the 5th week, in the 4th year of the Jubilee, and he called his name Enoch. And he was the first among men that are born on earth who learnt writing and knowledge and wisdom, and who wrote down the signs of heaven according to the order of the months in a book, that men might know the seasons of the years according to the order of the separate months. And he was the first to write a testimony, and he testified to the sons of men among the generations of the earth, and recounted the weeks of the Jubilees, and made known to them the days of the years, and set in order the months, and recounted the Sabbaths of the years as we made them known to him. And what was and what will be, he saw in a vision of his sleep, as it will happen to the children of men throughout their generations until the day of judgment. He saw and understood everything, and wrote his testimony, and placed the testimony on earth for all the children of men and for their generations. And in the 12th Jubilee, in the 7th week thereof, he took to himself a wife, and her name was Edna, the daughter of Denel, the daughter of his father's brother. And in the 6th year, in this week, she bare him a son, and he called his name Methuselah. And he was moreover with the angels of God these 6 jubilees of years, and they showed him everything which is on earth and in the heavens, the rule of the sun, and he wrote down everything. And he testified to the watchers who had sinned with the daughters of men, for these had begun to unite themselves so as to be defiled with the daughters of men, and Enoch testified against them all. And he was taken from amongst the children of men, and we conducted him into the Garden of Eden in majesty and honor, and behold, there he writes down the condemnation and judgment of the world, and all the wickedness of the children of men. And on account of it, God brought the waters of the flood upon all the land of Eden, for there he was set as a sign that he should testify against all the children of men, that he should recount all the deeds of the generations until the day of condemnation. And he burnt the incense of the sanctuary, even sweet spices, acceptable before the Lord of the mount. For the Lord has 4 places on the earth, the Garden of Eden and the Mount of the East, and this mountain on which thou art this day, Mount Sinai and Mount Zion, which will be sanctified in the new creation for a sanctification of the earth, though it will the earth be sanctified from all its guilt and its uncleanness throughout the generations of the world. And in the 14th Jubilee, Methuselah took unto himself a wife, Edna, the daughter of Azrael, the daughter of his father's brother, in the 3rd week, in the 1st year of this week. And he begat a son, and called his name Lamech. And in the 15th Jubilee, in the 3rd week, Lamech took to himself a wife, and her name was Betnus, the daughter of Barachel, the daughter of his father's brother. And in this week she bare him a son, and he called his name Noah, saying, This one will comfort me for my trouble and all my work, and for the ground which the Lord hath cursed. And at the close of the 19th Jubilee, in the 17th week, in the 6th year thereof, Adam died, and all his sons buried him in the land of his creation, and he was the first to be buried in the earth. And he lacked 70 years of 1,000 years. For 1,000 years are as one day in the testimony of the heavens, and therefore was it written concerning the tree of knowledge, On the day that ye eat thereof ye shall die. For this reason he did not complete the years of this day, for he died during it. At the close of this Jubilee, Cain was killed after him in the same year, for his house fell upon him, and he died in the midst of his house, and he was killed by its stones. For with a stone he had killed Abel, and by a stone was he killed in righteous judgment. For this reason it was ordained on the heavenly tablets, with the instrument with which a man kills his neighbor, with the same shall he be killed. After the manner that he wounded him, in like manner shall they deal with him. And in the 25th Jubilee, Noah took to himself a wife, and her name was Zara, the daughter of Rachel, the daughter of his father's brother, in the first year in the 5th week. And in the 3rd year thereof she bare him Shem, in the 5th year thereof. She bare him Ham, and in the 1st year in the 6th week she bare him Japheth. So this brings in the introduction, talks about the Watchers and that they broke the laws of God. They defiled themselves. They came into human women. Something that you won't hear preached in any of these man-made religions around the world, in this country full of them. I was once doing Bible study with my mom's pastor, who the dude was smart as a tack, but he was a deceiver and a liar. I was doing study with my son, so we decided, I came up with 2 trick questions to ask him. I asked him about Genesis 6 and who the sons of God were this was talking about. His answer was humans, of course. That's what they teach. And clearly, there's a reason why these books were removed from Scripture, because there's no denying who they're talking about. The way it's written in our English Bible, it's got a lot of people deceived. A lot of people believe that it's humans somehow came into human women and bore giants, which makes absolutely no sense. But that was one of the things when I first started studying and reading the Bible and coming to the truth that absolutely sucked me in. I was fascinated with the fallen angels, with the giants, with all the real history that's been hidden and not revealed to us. And I was obsessed with it. I studied and studied and studied and read books and watched videos and followed a lot of people. But yeah, that's just one of the many lies of the churches that they teach, the doctrines that they teach that are not really the truth, not scriptural. I'm going to read Jubilees 5. My eyes are tired, so I'm just going to end with 5 tonight. And it came to pass, when the children of men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the angels of God saw them on a certain year of this Jubilee, and they were beautiful to look upon. And they took themselves wives. This is talking about the angels, not talking about the sons of Jacob or, whatever they tell you in the church. And they took themselves wives of all whom they chose, and they bare unto them sons, and they were giants. It doesn't get any more clearly written. This is, again, these books that have been removed from our English Bible canon, they call it. There is an overwhelming amount of knowledge and wealth in these books, as far as the earth, telling you how it was created. It goes way in more detail about creation and where we live, the fallen angels, and all this stuff that's going on, this foolishness and craziness that went on. So, yeah, there are definitely books that are worth studying. And lawless increased on the earth, and all flesh corrupted its way. Alike men and cattle and beasts and birds and everything that walks on the earth, all of them corrupted their ways and their orders, and they began to devour each other. So see, these angels were doing the same thing they're doing today. They were corrupting all flesh, messing with DNA, mixing breeds, mixing different species. And we know that this stuff is going on a lot nowadays. And they began to devour each other, and lawlessness increased on the earth, and every imagination of the thoughts of all men. Thus evil continually. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt. And all the flesh had corrupted its orders, and all that were upon the earth had wrought all manner of evil before his eyes. And he said that he would destroy man and all flesh upon the face of the earth which he had created. But Noah found grace before the eyes of the Lord. I've also heard a lot of people say that Noah was saved because he was without blame. He was sinless, and that is so far from the truth. Uh, Noah's bloodlines were pure. They were one of the only bloodlines that were left pure on the whole earth. Everybody else was hybrids, mixed breeds. And against the angels whom he had sent upon the earth, he was exceedingly wroth, and he gave commandment to root them out of all their dominion. And he had bade us to bind them in the depths of the earth, and behold, they are bound in the midst of them, and are kept separate. And against their sons went forth a command from before his face, that they should be smitten with the sword, and be removed from under heaven. And he said, My spirit shall not always abide on man, for they also are flesh, and their days shall be 120 years. And he sent his sword into their midst, that each should slay his neighbor. And they began to slay each other till they all fell by the sword and were destroyed from the earth. And their fathers were witnesses of their destruction. And after this they were bound in the depths of the earth forever, until the day of the great condemnation, when judgment is executed on all those who have corrupted their ways and their works before the Lord. And he destroyed all from their places, and there was no left one of them, whom he judged not according to all their wickedness. And he made for all his works a new and righteous nature, so that they should not sin in their whole nature forever, but should be all righteous should be all righteous, each in his kind always. And the judgment of all is ordained and written on the heavenly tablets in righteousness, even the judgment of all who depart from the path which is ordained for them to walk in. And if they walk not therein, judgment is written down for every creature and for every kind. And there is nothing in heaven or on earth, or in light, or in darkness, or in Sheol, or in the depth, or in the place of darkness, which is not judged, and all their judgment are ordained and written and engraved. Sheol is the place of rest that is below the earth. That is where spirits, when we pass on, that is where we go until the resurrection. In regard to all, he will judge the great according to his greatness, and the small according to his smallness, and each according to his way. And he is not one who will regard the person of any, nor is he one who will receive gifts. If he says that he will execute judgment on each, if one gave everything that is on the earth, he will not regard the gifts or the person of any, nor accept anything at his hands, for he is a righteous judge. And of the children of Israel it has been written and ordained, if they turn to him in righteousness, he will forgive all their transgression and pardon all their sins. It is written and ordained that he will show mercy to all who turn from all their guilt once each year. And as for all those who corrupted their ways and their thoughts before the flood, no man's person was accepted save that of Noah alone, for his person was accepted in behalf of his sons, whom God saved from the waters of the flood on his account, for his heart was righteous in all his ways, according as it was commanded regarding him, and he was not departed from aught that was ordained for him. And the Lord said that he would destroy everything which was upon the earth, both men and cattle, and beasts and fowls of the air, and that which moveth on the earth. And he commanded Noah to make him an ark, that he might save himself from the waters of the flood. And Noah made the ark in all respect as he commanded him, in the 27th Jubilee of years, in the 5th week, in the 5th year, on the new moon of the 1st month. And he entered in the 6th year thereof, in the 2nd month, on the new moon of the 2nd month, till the 16th. And he entered, and all that we brought to him into the ark, and the Lord closed it from without on the 17th evening. And the Lord opened 7 floodgates of heaven, and the mouths of the fountains of the great deep, 7 miles in number. And the floodgates began to pour down water from the heaven 40 days and 40 nights. And the fountains of the deep also sent up waters until the whole world was full of water. And the waters increased upon the earth. 15 cubits did the waters rise above all the high mountains. And the ark was lifted up above the earth, and it moved upon the face of the waters. And the water prevailed on the face of the earth 5 months, 150 days. And the ark went and rested on the top of Lubar, one of the mountains of Ararat. And on the new moon in the 4th month, the fountains of the great deep were closed, and the floodgates of heaven were restrained. And on the new moon of the 7th month, all the months of the abyss of the earth were opened, and the water began to descend into the deep below. And on the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen. And on the new moon of the 1st month, the earth became visible again. And the waters disappeared from above the earth in the 5th week in the 7th year thereof. And on the 17th day in the 2nd month, the earth was dry. And on the 27th thereof, he opened the ark and sent forth from it beasts and cattle and birds and every moving thing. All right.